Hello, once again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our virtual classroom. Today, we're going to be going over lesson 21-3, which actually is not on OneNote, just by way of reminder. This one is just on Schoology. If you go to Schoology, you click on today's folder, obviously, that's how you got the video. If you click on 21-3 and start a new attempt, you will see the 5 questions for today. What I want to do today is go over some of these, not all of them, but go over some of these. But before I do so, I do want to remind you that for these kinds of problems, we're going to be following the same model that we've been doing since last Thursday. And that model is this one, where we have 2 fractions. And one of those fractions will be the percentage, which the percent is always over 100. The percent is always over 100. And we're going to make that equal or equivalent to another fraction that is going to be a part over a whole or a part over a total, etc. And so last Thursday, we were always looking for the percentage, meaning we were given the part and the whole, and we knew the percent was something over 100, but we were trying to figure out what that was. Once we lined it up, we would do cross multiplication to come up with an equation. And our final step would be to divide both sides by the number next to the letter. So by doing so, that would give us our percentage. Now, yesterday, the last assignment that we did 21-2. Notice that we would use the same exact model, except that this time we were given the percentage, which is always over 100. We were given the whole, but we were looking for the part. So we were given two out of the 3 elements that we need. We were given the percentage, which is always over 100, the whole and the part. And we can see here in this example, determine what 15% of 649 was. Notice that 15%, so that would be 15 over 100. And then I know that 649 is a whole because of the word of. We learned yesterday that anytime you have something of something else, or out of something else, or from something else, that following of or out of would always be our whole. However, today, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see that we're going to be given the percentage. We're going to be given the part, and we're actually looking for the whole. As an example, we can do the first one for some of you again. Let's go ahead and read it. It reads, 12 of the students in the school choir like to sing solos. These 12 students make up 24% of the choir. How many students are in the choir? Well, let's see the important information. 12 students sing solos. Now, are those all the students in the choir? No, that's just part of the choir. Part. Isn't that what I'm looking for, a part? In fact, 12, this part of the choir, these 12 students make up 24%. So they're telling you these are 24%. The 12 students are not 100% of the choir. They're not the whole choir. They are a part of the choir. What part is it? It is 24%. Of course, the question is asking, well, how many students are in the choir? Rather, how many total students are in the choir? As always, let us begin with our 2 fractions. Let us begin with our 2 fractions here. And notice that we're already given a percentage. It is 24, so it's going to be 24 out of 100. And we know what that 24% is. That 24% is 12 of the students. And of course, we are looking for the whole. I'm going to use a W to represent whole. Excellent. That is step number 1. I lined up the fractions. Step number 2, ladies and gentlemen, we need to cross multiply. We need to make an equation using cross multiplication. What am I going to cross multiply? I'm going to multiply the 24 times the W. So 24 times the W. And I'm also going to cross multiply 12 times 100, which would give me 1,200. Please remember that when you're multiplying by 100, a shortcut is to add the 2 zeros. What I'm actually doing when I multiply something by 100 is that I'm taking the decimal, 12 does have a decimal right there, and I'm moving it to the right twice. That's why it looks like I'm just putting 2 extra zeros on that. So hence 12, when I multiply by 100, becomes 1,200. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now that I did my second step, my third step is to divide by the number next to the letter. There's the letter, meaning I'm going to divide by 24. And whatever I do to one side, we do to the other. So my whole will be whatever 1,200 divided by 24 is. Well, 24 cannot go into 1 or 12, but it does go into 120 exactly 5 times, which is 120. Remainder 0. We have to bring down the 0. That's part of the 1,200. 24 goes into 0 0 times. And ladies and gentlemen, my whole or the total number of students in the choir would be 50 students. Excellent. Now, before I continue, do notice that this is actually a problem that I could have done a little bit differently because, ladies and gentlemen, remember, these are supposed to be equivalent fractions. And equivalent fractions, whenever you take a fraction and you either multiply or divide both the numerator and denominator by the same value, it is going to give you another equivalent fraction. Right here, we can ask ourselves, 24 divided by what gives me 12? Wasn't it divided by 2? Well, 100 divided by 2, that gives me 50. Notice how W is 50, just like what I got down here. My whole is 50. 12 out of the 50 students in the choir sing solos. That is 24% of the students. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. Number 2, 3, and 4 are very similar to that. Same thing. Percentage over 100, part, and we're looking for the whole. Number 5 is a little bit harder. I'm going to leave you guys to that. See if you guys can figure it out on your own if you didn't get to do it. But again, for all of these problems, I encourage you to watch this again. See how I did number 1. You just try the rest on your own. And hopefully you found this video helpful. And with that in mind, I will see you